Hey, David with the Wholesaler's Toolbox, and in this video we're going to talk about the cash buyer data feed. Now, I've done other videos that talk about how to build your cash buyers list and putting out bandit signs and going to RIA meetings and all that, but right from the beginning I've used the cash buyer data feed, and I've done that for really one reason, is all the other techniques, involved in building a cash buyers list, the RIA meetings and the bandit signs and the Facebook posts and all those things. You build a list of people that you don't know if they're really cash buyers or not, okay? And time is money. And I don't have the time, or I don't want to take the time to weed through a bunch of people I find online and determine if they're really cash buyers or not. They could be other wholesalers, they could be just tire kickers, they could be whatever, just posing to be an investor or somebody that's an investor wannabe. And that's great. There's I don't discourage anybody from getting into the business and investing in properties, but as a wholesaler, when I go out and put a property under contract, I want to know that the person I'm talking to buys properties, that they have a history of closing and doing deals. Okay, so nothing wrong with all the other methods. Okay, and if you don't have any money to get the cash buyer data feed or any other system, then all those other ways are the ways that you have to do it. You have to go to the RIA meetings and you have to network and you have to do all that stuff. But if you're out looking for deals, and that should be your primary focus as a wholesaler, is finding deals, you don't want to waste your time building a list. You just want to have a list already ready to go of people that are buying properties. So that's why I got the cash buyer data feed right from the beginning. It's people that have gone out and purchased a property and paid cash and done the deal or done multiple deals. Now, so what is a cash buyer? What qualifies somebody as a cash buyer? Well, a cash buyer is somebody that's bought a property and that deed has been registered with the county, but there was no mortgage registered with it. So they know that they bought it cash. That's what a cash buyer is. So every county and every state across the country, when you buy a property, that deed is registered with the county, so they know you own the property. And when there's no mortgage recorded with it, they know that you paid cash, okay? So the cash buyer data feed is a national database of all that data from all the counties. Every time somebody buys a property that's a cash buyer, it goes into the data feed, and it lists, who they are, what their address is. A lot of times it has their phone number, where the property's at, how much they paid for it, what the value is, and it gives you all this data. Now, there are several systems that give you cash buyers, but the nice thing about the cash buyer data feed, because it's set up just to be cash buyer data, it also tells you how many properties this company's bought or how many properties this individual's bought, where they're all at. You can bring up a heat map and see the areas that are hot for investors. So because it focuses just on cash buyers, it gives you a lot more data than all the other systems. So what I'm going to do in this video is go online and go into the cash buyer data feed and just kind of run through it and show you all the data that it gives you. Now, if you're a local wholesaler in your area, no matter where you're at, if you're in Chicago or you're in Philadelphia or you're in Jacksonville, Florida, wherever you're at, you need to know cash buyers in your area. Equally as important, if you're a virtual wholesaler and you're wholesaling in a city that you don't live in and maybe you're not even familiar with, you need good data on who's buying properties and where they're buying, so you know where to focus your efforts and you know how to, get the right properties to send to them. So I'm going to hop from this camera over to my screencast camera on my computer, just go through the vacant property data feed, show you what kind of information it gives you, and show you why it's really important to your wholesaling business. So let's take a look. All right, here we are on the realestatewealthnetwork.com website. This is a website that is owned by Cameron Dunlap, and this is like a central login for all the products he sells, including the cash buyer data feed. So, motivated seller data feed is a new program they're coming out with. We'll get into that in another few weeks. Vacant house data feed, which I'm a strong believer in, but today we're just going to talk about the cash buyer data feed. So once you log into the Real Estate Wealth Network, you're going to go into the cash buyer data feed, and it's going to load up the area that you have set in your defaults as your home area. So in my case, it's going to bring up the Detroit, Michigan area, and it's going to bring up all the cash buyers in Wayne County. So you can see there's a lot of them. There's over 21,000 cash buyers in Detroit, people that have paid cash for properties. And some of those are people that are, bought, had cash and bought a house to live in themselves. So they're not all necessarily investors, but they're all the people that bought properties or all the companies that have bought properties and didn't file a mortgage when they filed the deed, which indicates it's a cash purchase. So let's say we've gone out and we've done some marketing and we've got a property under contract in the Detroit area. And we're going to say we contracted it in Lincoln Park, let's say Allen Park, Michigan. So we're going to search Allen Park for all the cash buyers. And we've got 205 cash buyers in Allen Park. So you can see here that some of them have stars by the name or by the little folder. And the stars, if you look right up here, indicate that these people or companies have bought multiple properties in the last 18 months. So if we're looking for real cash buyers that are buying a lot of property, which in my opinion are the best to work with, then it's not just one here and one there, but they're buying multiple properties, we can go into our filters and just select the ones that are buying multiples and just get rid of the people that just, or companies that just bought one time. All right. We can also get rid of private buyers and just look at LLCs or corporations that have purchased. All right. We can, we can change any of this criteria: purchase price, assessed value, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, purchase date. We can, narrow it down if we don't want to go out 18 months and just search that criteria and see, it brings us down to 55. Okay. 55 is a good small group of companies to market to. All right. If I've got a property under contract in Allen Park and I want to find somebody else that's buying in Allen Park, here's the list. All right. Here are all the companies buying here. And then I can also go on and just click on the little star and it'll tell me all the other properties this company's buying. And you can see this company has bought a lot all around the area. Matter of fact, they bought 81 properties. So tell me, if you're a wholesaler, either a local wholesaler or a virtual wholesaler, how invaluable this tool would be if you've got a property to market. You instantly know who's buying there. Now, there are other programs out there, plenty of them, that have cash buyer data in their system. But the cash buyer data feed, because it's specifically set up for cash buyers, it shows you the multiple property counts. It shows you on the map where they're buying. You can go in, I'll show you in a minute, we'll go into the tools and I'll show you a heat map so you can see where the hot areas are. But this tool I've had right from the beginning because it eliminates the work to go out and find cash buyers any other way. All right. So let's take a look at one other way you can do this. So or a couple other ways. Let's say you want to market to more than 55 companies that have bought multiple transactions. So we know that like if somebody's buying in one of these neighboring cities, that there's a good chance that they would buy a good property in our city. So instead of doing the city like this, we can do the zip code, which is in Allen Park is 48101. And then we can say, let's look at, up to 5 miles from there, which is going to be all the neighboring cities. And then, so we put that in our search criteria and hit there. And it's going to look at, it gives us 649 cash buyers buying multiple properties in the last 18 months within that area. So this, what an incredible tool this is. All right. So if you're a virtual wholesaler and you're working, wherever, let's change our area here. Let's say we're going to look in Florida. We're going to look in Hillsborough County, which is Tampa. Okay. And let's get rid of this zip code here that will throw us off. And let's, pick Tampa. And then we're going to use the other same criteria that we have here. Multiple transactions, corporations or LLCs, in search. And let's see what we come up with in Tampa. We've got almost 3,000 cash buyers in the Tampa. Now, Tampa, there's a lot of investment going on in Tampa. There's a lot of international buyers that come into the area and stuff. So you really want to stick with multiple transactions here. But let's say we want to narrow down this list. Let's just go down. Let's go down to everybody that's bought in the last, 5 months. All right. And really narrow it down. We know these people are buying very recently and very actively because there's all multiple transactions. So we're down to 370 cash buyers that are buying in Tampa multiple properties frequently. So you can see you can go anywhere in the country and do the same thing. So if you're virtual wholesaling, if that's your business model, all right. So I'm focusing on Tampa or in Dallas or in Los Angeles or wherever my focus is as a virtual wholesaler, and I get on the mailing list of a lot of other wholesalers that are in that area marketing, and I say, hey, I've got a great big huge cash buyer list. So when you get a deal, send it to me and I'll send it out to my guys and market it. You get on a bunch of lists like that, they send you their deals. They're out hustling. They're out spending their money on marketing and putting out bandit signs and negotiating deals and figuring out rehab costs and getting it under contract. They don't have the cash buyer access that you do. They send you the deal. You send it out to your cash buyers and just hook up one of your cash buyers to their deal and split the profit with them. Tell me that the cash buyer data feed ain't worth the money when all you have to do is play matchmaker with wholesalers, right? It's a great tool. So let's dig a little deeper. Okay, so you can pull it up anywhere. When you run lists and you save them, it goes into your leads over here. We'll click on my leads here. I've saved a few to show you. Right? All the properties that I've saved in here. All right. You can go into marketing tools. All right. Here's the tools in the marketing tools section. You've got your templates. You've got email templates, it's not email, it's letter templates, postcard templates. All right. And you can use all of Cameron's, Dunlap's templates to mail all these cash buyers or properties to these cash buyers. And we'll show you how to do that in a second. You also have a phone script that you can look at. When you call these guys, if you want to build relationships with them, you can use a script to call them so you know what to talk about, what to ask, and all those things, so it doesn't seem like you're a rookie. All right. Here it's got mailing lists that I've saved. All right. So here's the Allen Park, Lincoln Park. So the marketing history will show you what you've already marketed to, mailed to. There's another direct mailer tab, labels and envelopes if you want to print stuff off. And then I was talking about heat maps. And this will show you if you put in any county in the country, what it looks like where the investors are buying. This is Wayne County, and I'll tell you this is pretty accurate because, well, one, the data is accurate, but two, this is the city of Detroit coming out here into the western suburbs, all very popular. This is the downriver area, they call it. And then when you got out here, Romulus is where the airport is here in Detroit, and this is residential down here and some light industrial, but it's lighter populated area. So, investors aren't buying down here. This is where they're buying. And you can literally go into any state and any county and see what this looks like. If we just put in Florida, you can see where everybody's buying, where the cash buyers are at. So anyway, that's a great tool so you know where to market, you focus your marketing efforts. But let's go back in here to mailing lists for a minute. And I pulled this earlier, this Lincoln Park list. But let's say you want to market to that list. So let's go into mailers. Let's pick that list, Lincoln Park. And they have the cash buyer data feed, or Cameron's office has teamed up with a mail house. And depending on how many letters you send out, they've got the pricing on here, what will cost you per piece. Or if you don't want to do it through a mail house, you can print them out and mail them yourself. So you can just pick, okay? So let's just say I'm going to mail them myself. So I click on that, print them and mail them myself, and continue. And then we can pick either the postcard or letter template that they have loaded in here. So right here is a note of recent purchase. This goes on a postcard. It's got all your information. And then it just says that you're an active investor in the area. You want to introduce yourself. You've learned that they bought a property through public records. You often come across great deals, and you just want to hook up with them and send them deals when you come across it. So this is a great piece to send out. All right. Also, if you get on other wholesalers' lists and you have a joint venture agreement with them, they said it's okay to send their deal to your investors. You could use something like this piece where you put the property information on here. You put a picture of the property, you put where it's at, the ARV, the estimated repairs. You just copy this off the information the other wholesaler gives you and send it out to them. And you can use the system built right into the cash buyer data feed and pick people in the area. Just click on it, fill in your information, boom, send it out, and find a buyer for another wholesaler's deal. Do a JV deal, split the profit, make the money. All right. So you've also got some letters in here. If you like letters sometimes the response rate is a little bit better on a letter, but it's the same information. It just goes in letter format and send it out. You can put your company information here. You can load up in your, if you build your own templates, you can put your company logo in there. So it, puts your logo on the letter. So that's a great feature. Like I said, you can either use their mail house or you can print it out yourself. So there's a full-length training video in the system. I apologize. This isn't their system running slow. It's my computer. This computer runs a little bit slow. But this is a full-length video training on the cash buyer data feed that you can play once it loads up. Excuse me. Your contact information if you want to get a hold of the people over at Cash Buyer Data Feed. This is how you contact them. They've got a task calendar in here. So if you need to call a cash buyer back or you want to put anything in this task thing, it's really like Google Calendar, and they are working on hooking this up with Google Calendar. So if you have something in here, it'll sync with it. You can also have it email and text you a reminder. So as you can see, the cash buyer data feed it eliminates all the time you would spend building a cash buyer database. I mean, if you want a cash buyer database or cash buyer list, this will give you the whole country, not just your area. So you can do lots of JV deals. You can do lots of your own deals. And I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's a great system. I've used it from day one in the wholesaling business, and I wouldn't use anything else. So that's it. I recommend it highly. If you want to take a look at it and sign up, the link's going to be below in the description if you're watching on YouTube, on the webpage if you're on the Wholesalers Toolbox website. And I encourage you to utilize this to greatly increase your wholesaling business. So that's it for today, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Thanks a lot.